All right, so if you recently failed an OSHA inspection and you've received the citation letter with all the violations and all the fines and penalties, or maybe you're still waiting for that citation letter to show up and you're not sure what to do next and how to deal with that situation, well, make sure to stick around for the rest of this video where I'm going to give you all the best practices, all the considerations, and all the best strategies available to you to deal with OSHA citations, violations, and fines. But before getting into that, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit that notifications bell so that you're notified every time that I upload new content about the environmental, health, and safety regulations and issues that impact small manufacturers and industrial companies, which will be 2 to 3 times per month. All right, so my name is Russell Carr. As I mentioned in other videos in this series, How to Pass Your OSHA Inspection, I've helped a lot of small manufacturing and industrial companies manage the entire OSHA enforcement process, from that initial inspection to fixing violations, and to the point of this video, helping companies to deal with those citations once they show up. Sometimes even being able to fight back to get them reduced or even thrown out if you can make the case to do that. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So with that said, let's get into this. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what to do if you get inspected by OSHA and are issued citations. You get that letter after the inspection telling you what the citations are, how much the fines are, and everything else. So let me go ahead and talk about your two options. So option number one is pretty straightforward. You can accept the citations and pay the fines. All right, so there's a few considerations here. Number one, keep in mind that if you do accept the citations, these are going to stay on your record literally forever. So there used to be a 5-year limit, but recent court decisions have upheld that these citations remain on your, and these violations remain on your record forever. And what's important to understand about that is that if you get inspected again, and there's always follow-up inspections, they're gonna come back sooner or later. It might be in a few months, it might be in a year, it might not be for 10 years. But when they do come back, if they find the same or even similar violations, then now you're on the hook to potentially pay for repeat violations. And as we talked about in an earlier video, those max out at $145,000 plus each. So obviously can be devastating and very, very expensive. But you know, if you know that you're, you know, quote unquote guilty of the violations, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to accept those citations, pay the fines, and try to stay on top of it. You have to stay on top of it. Also keep in mind that a lot of times that citation letter will include what's called an expedited settlement agreement. And what that is, it's basically a 40%, an offer for a 40% discount on all the fines and penalties if you agree to accept the citations and pay the fines. So obviously that's an incentive that they include. And they don't always offer that, by the way, but they will offer that if, for example, you know, the company managed the inspection well, showed a positive attitude towards safety, went to work quickly on fixing all the violations and communicated that to the inspector. You know, in situations like that, they'll offer that expedited agreement, which in a lot of cases is good. And you just want to go ahead and take that, accept the citations, pay the fines with that 40% discount. The other thing you can do, you know, if you believe that the citations are invalid, you can request what's called an informal conference to present your case. So you're going to have, once that citation letter arrives, you got 2 weeks to decide whether you want to pay them or you want to contest them using the informal conference process. So it's important to understand that, you know, typically the best you could ever hope for in one of these informal conferences is to get a 40% discount. So typically that's the most that they're going to offer. But if you know you are absolutely confident that you can dispute the citations and you can back that up, this is critical, back that up with actual records and documents proving that the citations are wrong, you can get the, you know, citations completely thrown out. It's tough to do that, but you know, it can happen. We've actually helped clients do that. So if you're confident that you have those records and you have a strong case, you know, put that all together, show up to that informal conference, present your case, and you might, you know, you've got nothing to lose. Ideally, you can get them completely thrown out. But again, you've got to have everything in place to do that. Even if you don't get them thrown out, you can, hope for that 40% discounts. But keep in mind that that's typically the best thing that you can hope for. And if the conference doesn't go well, you're going to spend that time and effort, and you're not going to get any sort of a discount. So keep that in mind. But there's nothing wrong with doing an informal conference. The last thing I want to say on this subject, you must post the citations in your workplace for your employees to see. So once that citation letter shows up, you got to make copies of it and you got to post it in a place that all your employees can see. I know that's tough to do, but that's part of the law. If you fail to do that, you're looking at even more potential fines and penalties. So that's pretty much it for what to do if you get citations. If you have been through this before, you want to share your experiences, make any recommendations, or if you have any questions about that, make sure to post it below. I promise, in the comments below, I promise to respond. Also, make sure to stick around here for a moment. I'm going to make a very special, no obligation, free offer to those of you who want to be proactive about your safety program. If you know it's not up to date, you don't have a program at all possibly, but you want to be proactive about that so that you can have the confidence to pass any inspections. Stick around for that offer, and I'll see you here in just a minute. And thanks again for watching. All right, so let me begin to wrap up by asking you a very simple but also a very important question, and that's this. Are you and your company really ready if OSHA shows up tomorrow in your lobby for a surprise inspection? The fact is, if you're like most small manufacturing and industrial companies, the answer is probably no. And if that sounds like you, don't feel bad. Again, you're not alone. But the fact is, if that's the case, you are currently at major risk. The fact is that OSHA goes across the country every single day and hits small companies just like yours and issues all kinds of citations, fines, and penalties that often run into the tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you got to ask yourself, could you really afford that? So having said that, I also want to make the point that the best preparation and the best way to pass an inspection is to know and have the confidence that you have a fully functioning OSHA compliance health and safety program. I know that's easier said than done, but at this point in time, I want to make a very special, free, no obligation offer to you to help you get on track if you don't have a safety program right now. I want to offer you free enrollment in our small manufacturer safety school. So let me tell you about this program. What it does is it gives you the training, the knowledge, and the resources so you can actually start to build a customized safety program and get prepared for that inspector. So let me explain what comes with that program. It's a three-parter. Number one, we have the mini OSHA crash course designed specifically to meet the needs of small manufacturing and industrial companies. So in this free training, I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of determining which OSHA compliance requirements apply to your company and how to build that program and how to manage that program for the long term. Another really important thing to understand about this crash course, it's built for non-experts. So most of the people, most of the companies that come to us, they don't know anything about safety. So I built that program with that in mind. So even if you know nothing from safety, you'll really benefit from it. The other thing that you're going to get is an OSHA compliance check sheet. So after you watch the course, you can use this as a self-assessment, gap assessment tool to see which one of these OSHA laws applies to your company, figure out if you have it in place or not. If you don't, this document will also function as sort of a roadmap forward to get your company on the road towards compliance. The final thing that we're offering in the Small Manufacturer Safety School, I'm going to invite you to live, free, monthly training sessions where I'm going to do deep dives and cover everything that's covered in the crash course so that you can learn step-by-step instructions for actually how to build a customized safety program for your company. Again, it's free, it's no obligation, you have absolutely nothing to lose. I'm going to put a link below the video here where you can enroll and get started immediately on your road towards compliance. I look forward to seeing you in some of those live sessions. Also, make sure to stick around for the next edition of how to pass your OSHA inspection. And finally, if you haven't already and you like what you learned today, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit that notifications bell so that you're notified every time that I upload new content, which will be 2 to 3 times per month, diving deep into the environmental health and safety regulations and issues that impact small manufacturing and industrial companies. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.